whipping they back? What you forgot about lynching when people of color was forced to go sit in the back? What you forgot about Wall Street when they massacre people just cause they were black? Yeah, I know it's been 100 years and my people still never got justice for that. How the fuck would you feel every day feeling your life was under attack? Cops kill white same rate as black people, then tell me how you would react. Instead of trying to push a narrative, do some research and just look up the stats. All men were created equal, that's bullshit and y'all know that it's cat. Try listening to understand, then I promise we can all gather. But don't tell me that I'm racist just because I say Black Lives Matter. You say black oppression ain't real just because you never learned about it? Come get all these smoke, buckle up, let's talk about it. Cut the bullshit, cut the cameras, sick and tired of the double standard. Big corporations wanna pander just cause they don't wanna get the slander. We had enough when we want some answers, doing this one for the ancestors. I got the drive of the black mamba, fighting with the heart of the Black Panther. Stop listening to bullshit from Fox News on your big screen. Black on black crime, 30% of the population, yeah bitch please. What was that energy for these bitches trying to sleep with your kids under 16? Or these sick fucks that randomly slaughter people when the AR-15? They call us criminals when the whites do 69% of the crime. It ain't got shit to do with race. Goofy is called proximity crime. Bigger the city, the higher the poverty, you get a higher percent of the crime. It's the media keeping you blind, stopping your racist and get with the time. To all the white folks not racist, I got nothing against you. I ain't holding you responsible for no slave owning that you didn't do. Just understand that we traumatized from all the shit that we've been through. Hope one day the middle ground is all something we can get to. Try listening to understand, then I promise we can all gather. But don't tell me that I'm racist just because I say Black Lives Matter. You say black oppression ain't real just because you never learned about it? Come get all these smoke, buckle up, let's talk about it. To all the soldiers and allies that joined the fight, I appreciate it. Fall of America came together, imagine how much better we can make it. When they signed a civil rights bill, when they couldn't separate us by race, then they found a way to divide us by your political affiliation. Every 4 years, same bullshit, don't be the sucker to eat that. It's black folks who don't believe in racism just because they never seen that. Rest in peace, Jonathan Price, it took for him losing his life to see that. We want police reform and justice, how many times we gotta preach that? Fuck the high road, call me a nigga, I'm beating your ass and I mean that. You say something then stand on it, don't be a bitch and delete that. Hey Donald Trump, fuck your platinum plan, your handouts you can keep that. We just out here trying to live the same dream that Martin Luther King had. All black people not criminals, all white people not racist. Every black woman not hood, and every white woman not basic. Both sides gotta stop judging, both sides gotta stop hating. If we don't come together right now, 4 years we will not make it. If we don't come together right now, 4 years we will not make it.
One, two, three. Greetings, salutations. Greetings, salutations. How you all doing? I am everywhere tonight. Greetings, salutations. This is TNathan, and you all know what time it is. It is 10 o'clock. No matter what time it says it is where you are, it is 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. I don't care if the clock says 10:04 and 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And you're listening to Conversations with TNathan. And whew, we got a lot to talk about tonight. I know most of the time y'all tune in and you be like, how does TNathan pick what he's going to talk about? Usually it's a combination of what happens to the day. And today I was going to, and I probably still will try to get to it. I can't promise you that because I have something else I want to talk about. But we were going to listen to Kamala Harris's full interview with MSNBC. And we might get to that. It's 21 minutes. We might get to that. But I don't know if we're going to get to it quickly because tonight I'm late well, I'm always late, but I just finished listening to the audio clips of John Kelly talking to the New York Times. I mean, the Atlantic, and they put it in the New York Times. And for those of y'all who don't know, let me tell you who John Kelly is. John Kelly is a former Marine, former general, retired general from the Marines. He served as the commander of the United States Southern Command under President Barack Obama from 2012 to 2016. He then went on to become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security under Donald Trump from 2017 to 2000, and from 2017, January to July. And the reason he left that position is because he went on to become Donald Trump's chief of staff um, from 2017 to 2019. Understand something, right? This man is a general, like I say, general, highly respected. He was one of the guardrails in the Donald Trump presidency. And today, I listened to him answer some questions from a reporter or talk about Donald Trump in a manner that I couldn't even find. I mean, it's not a video, it's a phone interview. And I've known that John Kelly has been critical of Donald Trump. He doesn't endorse him, and he's been critical of Donald Trump. We got that. There is no doubt about that. But when you listen to what he said today, um, and this is the thing that gets me. We're 14, election is in 14 days. Next, 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today, November 5th, election day. And while I ask myself, why haven't some of these people been more critical sooner? Man. So we're going to go through some of the audio excerpts that have been released of this interview with John Kelly. And the first thing we're going to listen to is John Kelly talking about Trump and fascism. And he he reminds me when he pulls out, he talks about the definition of fascism first. And um, he goes into, and early voting has started. And the thing about it is, this is a general. This is the ultimate. I mean, if you keep up with politics, you have to know how close John Kelly, how intricate John Kelly was to the Trump White House. He was chief of staff, and you know what chief of staff's job is. And he wasn't so much policy. He was there to maintain a smooth running White House. He fired some of these people that Trump have allowed back in his orbit. John Kelly originally fired them. There's some people on this app that used to work in the Trump administration that John Kelly fired for their extreme views that now are back working for Trump. So, what's up, Chief Security? I want you all to hear. So first, listen to what John Hale Kelly had to say about Trump and fascism.
What do you think? Do you think he's a fascist?
Well, I'm looking at the definition of fascism. It's a far-right, authoritarian, ultranationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy. So certainly, in my experience, those are the kind of things that he thinks would work better in terms of running America. You know, again, back to this issue of democracy is complicated, messy to operate. Probably the worst kind of government there is, except for all the other ones. I think Churchill once said that. And again, our Constitution, our founders built in to the Constitution and to the way our government operates, built in a lot of checks and balances, and didn't design the government to be streamlined and whatnot. So, but certainly the former president is in the far right area. He's certainly an authoritarian. Admires people who are dictators. He has said that. So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, for sure.
Listen, imagine a man that has been associated with the United States military. He was a Marine um, since '69. Understand, a general that has been associated with the United States military, has been the commander of the United States Southern Command. And this is what he's saying about his former boss. Let that sink in. This is what he is saying about his former boss. And I feel like John Kelly has tried to stay above the fray. I feel like he has tried to stay above the fray, as you know, like being military and not um, get into it. But I think he wanted himself. And then this is an interview. Understand, these are his words. He put himself on audio, on tape, saying these things because he wanted it to be known that he stands behind what he says. You know, he talked about how Trump talked about veterans and how he said so. This is the same man that has been very critical of Donald Trump, but people and then you have the Trump campaign struggling or scrambling today to try to discredit John Kelly all of a sudden, right? But here's the thing. John Kelly is a Republican. I mean, he's an independent now. He was a Republican, but when he left Donald Trump's orbit, he became an independent. He's not running for personal office, and this is who he's not running for public office. He has nothing to gain. He is speaking his truth, and this is what he says when he was asked, would Donald Trump govern like a dictator? Listen to this.
If he was left to his own devices, would he be a dictator if he didn't have people around him?
Oh, I think I think he'd love to be. I think he'd love to be just like he was in business. He could tell people to do things and they would do it, and not really bother too much about whether what the legalities were and whatnot. But again, I didn't know him before, so I can't really.
This, like I say, this is John Kelly in his own words. And I was listening to this, and like I say, I'm always late for one reason or another. But I was listening to this, and I'm like, it just impacts you. It impacts you. It's like beyond the MAGA madness, right? This is John Kelly confirming that Donald Trump would be a threat to them, just like the dictators he admires, like Viktor Orban of Hungary. Um, he wants to be a dictator, and we already knew his narcissism, his malignant narcissism, put him in that. But this is John Kelly telling you now. And then you remember when he said about using the military inside the United States. Let's take a look at what John Kelly says about what he said.
And I think this issue of using the military to go after American citizens is one of those things I think is a very, very bad thing. Even to say it for political purposes to get elected, I think it's a very, very bad thing, let alone actually doing it.
So you're saying when you saw him say that recently, and as he said on the campaign trail, that was something that really concerned you to the point that you thought, as you sat there trying to figure out what to do, you thought maybe it's worth answering some questions about this.
Yeah, it is. And I go back to George Washington and how he set up, before there was an America, how he set it up so that the military would stay out of, would not be used in the United States or in the domestically, and that the way forward was for military officers not to be involved in politics. And again, unless you're someone like me or Mattis or people like that retired from the military or left the military, like Mark Esper or Mike Pompeo, and then go into a political job, whether it's elected or assigned by the White House, it's a little bit different because you're then involved in it. But for the most part, and that's why I'm so hesitant to talk. It's certainly never to tell or recommend to an American who they should vote for, because now that I'm out of the political job, I'm back to being pretty much a retired military officer who should not get too involved in this kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, until the former president started talking about this, and this goes back to when I was in the White House, for that matter, DHS, I was, originally the conversation would be, Mr. President, that's outside your authority, or, that's a routine use. You really don't want to do that inside the United States. But now that he's talking about it as I'm going to do it, is again, it's disturbing.
Say, just General John Kelly. General John Kelly, former commander of the United States Southern Command, former director of Homeland Security, Secretary of Homeland Security, former chief of staff to Donald John Trump. And he is sharing that he told him plenty of times. There were things, like I said, this was a General Kelly was a guardrail that you're not going to have in the second Donald Trump presidency. This is a man who knew who he was and what was capable. He had always said he had told Donald Trump, that's outside of your scope of authority, sir. Um, and then to hear him talk about he was ready to oppose him if he went that far. Um, but there's not going to be this kind of guardrails on this presidency of Donald Trump, a second term. This is what Kelly says Trump does not understand about American values.
I mean, is he the biggest threat to the country that you've seen in your life out of all the threats, like post 9/11, all these different things?
Well, I think he's certainly the only president that has all but rejected what America is all about, and what makes America America in terms of our Constitution, in terms of our values, the way we look at everything, to include family and government. And he's certainly the only president that I know of that was certainly in my lifetime that was like that.
Do you understand? I mean, maybe it's just me. I'm listening to this and I'm like, do we understand the impact of what John Kelly is saying? Do we understand that this former chief of staff, this long term Marine general, is saying why Donald Trump should never be anywhere near the office of president again? Do we understand that? Do we understand that most of his cabinet does not support him? His vice president does not support him. And this is what I get. Like this is why I don't understand, and I have a problem with Democrats on right now. I have a problem with people that say it and don't do things like this. Uh, Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy, is all we hear. We hear that. We got General Kelly here sounding the alarm that Donald Trump should not be allowed near the presidency of the United States again, and here's why. Can you imagine? Oh, no, before I get to what you can imagine, now I'm going to play a part where it says Kelly sees Trump putting personal loyalty above the Constitution. This is what John Kelly had to say about Trump putting personal loyalty above the Constitution.
And did the former president appreciate the Constitution? Did he appreciate any of these things?
No. It was fascinating. I mean, he doesn't know a lot about American history, and certainly as a I guess a former executive in his civilian world, I guess you can be a dictator because you can fire people pretty easily, and the only thing theoretically that you have to follow is the law. But then again, an awful lot of people break the law and expect subordinates to break the law or to circumvent the law somehow, and that's where he was coming from. That was his worldview.
Did he expected the people that worked for him to break the law?
Well, when he would give, and I think I've told you this many times, when he would tell me that he wanted to do something, 100% of the time I check with the the White House counsel, because oftentimes he wouldn't have the authority to do what he wanted to do. And again, that's an interesting point, because if you listen to, certainly in my study of presidents, and if you listen to presidents when they leave office, whether they write a book or do interviews, one of the things that surprises them initially was how little power they actually had, and how much they had to work with the Congress to get things done. And most of them accepted that and worked within the rules of what the Constitution dictates. It's frustrating, I'm sure. Well, I know it's frustrating for them, because their agenda that they're trying to push, and suddenly they have to go to the Congress to get money, and if the Congress is not inclined to go along with it, then it's very frustrating. But that is the law.
And when he was confronted with the fact that he couldn't do something, did he want to do it anyway? I mean, when he was confronted with the fact that he couldn't do something legally, did he want to do it anyway?
He would try to make the case that he did have the authority.
So whenever confronted with something was told he couldn't do, he still tried to make the case of him having the authority. And like I say, if it wasn't for people like General Mathis, General Kelly, and some of the people that have left his orbit, like I say, left his orbit after seeing that, those guardrails will not be in place this time, because you will have Trump loyalists. You won't have career minded, ethically guided people like General Mathis. You won't have those people. Donald Trump learned his lesson from his first term. He's not going to put those people in these positions. He thought, and one of the things Mike Pence did that I can't take away from him, no matter how many other problems I have with Mike Pence, he did his job as he understood it by the Constitution of the United States, independent of what Donald Trump wanted. That's why Donald Trump, when he was told that they're talking about hanging Mike Pence on January the 6th, he said, "So what?" He said, "So what?" So this, no, Petra, I think that's too simplistic. That's too simplistic. It's not so much. See, the thing about Jim Jones followers, they went to French Guiana and they make it stay to themselves. They stay to themselves. But Trump supporters, MAGA supporters, want to restructure the environment of the world that everybody else lives in. Yeah, and I can get into it. At first, it was like that. I thought about that, and then once I started to think about the difference in Jim Jones supporters, because they just he just Jim Jones wanted admiration. He wanted admiration. He wanted to be worshipped, but he was fine with the worship of his flock. Donald Trump and MAGA supporters want you to either worship white Jesus and Donald Trump or be subjugated. But they're not going to go to French Guiana. They're going to try to do it right here. Now, this part, this like I say, I believe General Kelly. General Kelly has nothing to gain. Nothing to gain. He's not running for no political office. He does nothing to gain by doing this now. Nothing. So this is what TikTok's going to have a fit on this one, I know. So just get ready. But this is what Donald Trump had to say about Adolphus.
He commented more than once that, that Hitler did some good things too. And of course, if you know history, again, I think he's lacking in that. But if you know what Hitler was all about, it'd be pretty hard to make an argument that he did anything good.
So what would you say when he said to you that Hitler did a lot of good things?
Well, I tell him that. I said, sir, first of all, you should never say that. But if you knew what Hitler was all about from the beginning to the end, everything he did was in support of his racist, fascist life, philosophy, so that nothing he did, you could argue, was good. It was certainly not done for the right reason, and but he would occasionally say that.
What would he say when you would lay that out to him?
He just, that'd be the end of the conversation usually.
Now, of all the things that I heard him talk about, that hit me that the only thing he would just, it wasn't that he would not talk about it again. That just would be the end of the conversation then. And you're talking, like I say, you're talking to General Mathis. I mean, you're talking to General Kelly, um, someone who has stood in the gap against foreign aggression, right? Like I say, been in the military since 1969. Um, General, a commander, a Southern Command commander, and you're praising one of the people that in world history is considered one of the most top five villainous people to ever exist in world history. And I say top five because a lot of people don't know about King Leopold, but that's a whole different conversation. Um, and you're praising him. You're saying he has some good ideas. Like what? Like what? People always make a joke about, oh, he kept the trains running on time. What? And see, this is what I get when I hear people talking about the economy under Trump. Even though statistically, I can disprove their analogy about the economy then and the economy now. We have 2.5% inflation. Still, with the adjustment for 2.5% inflation, the economy is still better now than under Donald Trump. And I know a lot of people don't see it because you don't want to see it sometimes. You don't want to see it. I understand. Some of y'all are, some people are enamored with their suffering. I've seen a lot of that too. And some people just like to nostalgically wax about how much something cost 20 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, do you know all prices gone up? But I digress. Now, my biggest problem is that if you want to talk about something, you could talk about wages have not kept up, but wages are not a government sponsored thing. That's your business's fault. That's the company you're working for that haven't given you cost of living adjustments, and you all continue to work for them. That's one thing I like about the new generation. They're telling people, we don't have to work for this. A lot of you all will work and complain, and then act like the Generation Z that are not going to work and complain about it. They're just not going to work for it until you all come around to paying um, for those services. But I tell you, Generation X, and the other generations Y, they have just got this attitude that the baby boomers gave them, that you just have to work for the man and complain. One more thing, we got something else that General Kelly said I want to get to before I wrap this up.
Does he have disdain for the disabled?
Well, certainly his not wanting to be seen with amputees that lost their limbs in defense of this country, fighting for every American, to him included, to protect them, but didn't want to be seen with them. That's an interesting perspective for the commander in chief to have.
Why didn't he want to be seen with them?
He would just say, "Look, it doesn't look good for me." So, anyways, I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist. If you're a psychiatrist, I guess you could take a stab at some of these questions, but I'm not.
So, Chief of Staff Kelly, General Kelly, Homeland Security Secretary Kelly, um, is verifying that Donald Trump did not want us to be seen with disabled servicemen. He did not want to be seen with them. Like I say, John Kelly, he knew. He was the chief of staff. He was there. He was more there than anybody else was. And people say, and then people are quick to say, why didn't he quit? Then what? Then what? John Kelly told you why he didn't quit. He told you why. He said, who else is going to take my place? Who else is going to take my place? See, he couldn't just outfire. He couldn't outright fire General Kelly because he would have had to make up a reason. Because Kelly was above reproach. General Kelly was above reproach. That's why I'm watching the same people. I'm waiting for the same people that basically praised General Kelly. And now that he's speaking out against Donald Trump, I guarantee those same people are now going to criticize him wholly just off the fact that he's telling the truth about his time in the White House. And don't get me wrong, he's told the truth before, but people have justified it. Or they say, well, no one else was in the room. Duh. But now we're going to listen to a lack of understanding of self.
But he basically said to you that those who died for America on the battlefield were losers and suckers, and he said it more than once.
Yes, but he would not quite. He would say it would always that something else would get him going. Oftentimes, again, McCain. He talked about, and it was like almost a recording. But the point is, anyways, he would say it at times, sometimes unexpectedly, but he never could wrap his arms around why people would serve the country in uniform. What was in it for them? That was the general theme. I think that's much more actually powerful than talking about what he said about, blues and lie. I think he just could never wrap his arms around why people would do things selflessly. What's in it for them? I think that's a much more powerful, but that's just me.
Can you imagine being General Kelly and hearing the commander in chief of the military talk like this about military servicemen, about veterans, about John McCain? Can you imagine? And it's like this. This is who he is. The violation of Arlington Cemetery that he did for a campaign, a campaign photo op. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't understand the military service. He doesn't care about it. He pays lip service to it. He'll pay lip service to it, right? Him and his father didn't serve and escape service during mandatory draft times. And then it's not. And Aaron, it's like he only wants power. It's not a bad thing to want power. It's what are you doing with it? See, I think when you get into Western philosophy, some people look at the 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 item or the effect more than they look at the character of the person wielding. It's not. I mean, yes, if I want power, I want power to protect those I love and care about, to destroy anything that threatens them. It's not the wanting of power. Power is just a tool. That's like being mad at a hammer for being a hammer. It's not the use of the hammer that is. It's not the hammer that is the problem. It is the person wielding that hammer. Um, and that's why I hear people say things like that. Power corrupts. That's like saying a hammer corrupts you. No, no. It's character. And on that note, we're going to close with what John Kelly said on the importance of character over policy. We're going to come back to all of this because I got a wrap up question. I want you to close your eyes and imagine after I play all this.
I'm not recommending anything to anybody. I'm just saying, other than that, when you're looking to vote for someone, regardless, you got to look at the character and all of those kind of things, and then start looking at the individual's policies. We can always, even if you're a conservative Republican, much of what's gone on the last 3.5 years hasn't been what you've wanted to have happen to the country. But we can get by it because you might have a Republican come in the future. But if a person's character isn't at least minimally acceptable, then I think that person can do a lot more damage. We've got to. I just wish. I'll end with this. I just wish at the end of all of this, whoever wins, that person and the leadership in the country, certainly the political leadership in Washington, to include the House and Senate, that people say, okay, let's take a breath, let's step back. This has been really, really hard. Let's try to come back together as Americans. Stop hating each other just because we have a difference of opinion on political issues. I just hope we do that somehow. I don't know if we will, though, but I hope we will. I hope whoever becomes the president will start that process. Let's become friends again.
Shit about the military, but tried to join the military. Make it make sense. Who tried? He didn't try to join the military. Donald Trump didn't try to join the military. He never tried to join the military. He faked bone spurts, spurs. But see, this is what, like I said, this is what I was doing today. This is why I was late today. I'm always have a reason. He's trying to be the commander in chief. Um, that's just he's trying to be president. People, that's incidental to the office of president. He's not. It's not a military position. Yeah, it's not. It's literally not joining the military. It's a civilian position, and he's trying to. You could command something and not like it or respect it. It's just a tool to you. All this. That's what the point is. Yeah, I'm always late, but but today I really had I planned to be on time because when Petra called me and I was like, yeah, I had changed my whole program up once I finished listening to all those clips by John Kelly because that is insightful. Like I say, it's one thing to have a quote from him every now and then. He'll say something and a reporter. This is him in his own words and his own voice on the record. He wanted to be on the record 14 days before the election. 14 days. 10:04 is on time for me. On the record. And this is why I say now, let's put this in perspective. Can you imagine if a chief of staff or a cabinet member or anybody in the present administration came out and said that Kamala Harris or Joe Biden said these types of things? Let's just stick with Kamala Harris because Joe Biden is about to ride out into the sunset. Can you imagine the impact if the chief of staff of the White House or Kamala Harris's chief of staff, the vice president chief of staff, said that these were some of the things that Kamala Harris routinely talked about with them? Can you imagine what would be said? What would happen? Do you understand? Fox News would practically be imploding right now. It would be 24-hour coverage of this right now. If they will be playing this in a loop over and over right now, they would literally justify everything they've said with this. And that's why I'd say, Petra, this is not like this is how Trump supporters differ from Jim Jones supporters. Jim Jones was looking for just a getaway. They just didn't want to be subject to the law. Trump supporters are so embedded with the idea of their racism and bigotry that they want to literally make this country over in that image. The country already has racism and bigotry woven into its foundation. They literally want to crack that foundation open and dig out the original seed of racism and bigotry that this country was founded on and nourish it water it, give it sunlight so that it spreads and grows, and it subjugates anyone who doesn't feed it. Literally, this is what it is. When you listen, all this talk about thank you for your service, all this talk that they pay lip service to policy and things like, it's not real. It's a facade. It's a delusional illusion. It because at its core, before this was the party of law and order. Y'all remember that? That was like the big thing. We follow the law. You now you got a convicted felon, a 34-time convicted felon, and you all are perfectly all right with those felony convictions. You are the law protecting family values, right? But now you have a man that has three baby mamas and countless numbers of adult fun time, happy fun time entertainers that he's had affairs with. Where the family values at? That's because all of this has been an illusion from that point. And let me tell y'all something else, right? Kamala Harris was with Liz Cheney, and uh, you got Adam Kinzinger, you got the mayor of Mayor Glenn in Arizona. You got all these Republicans that are can't vote for Trump, so they're supporting Kamala Harris. I want you all to understand something because Robert made a comment, and and he made the comment, it brought it to my attention about how many people, because people say I admire these people for doing this. Don't forget who these people are. Don't forget who these people are. These are the same people that made the same policies that oppressed and held down marginalized groups. Liz Cheney's voting record when it comes, let's not forget who these people are. Because I think some people are forgetting. Yes, we're so used to being used that I don't think we know how to use properly. Liz Cheney is not my friend, but I will use her in this time. But I will keep it in mind she's not my friend. I know Liz Cheney's voting record. I know what Dick Cheney did when he was in office. They are just, you see, we have been this westernized idea that the enemy of my enemy is somehow my friend. No, the enemy of my enemy, if they were my enemy, they are still my enemy. I might use them against my enemy, but that doesn't mean we're going to be friends afterwards. It, chess, and I'm a chess, and I play chess. I'm a chess master. No, unless you're talking about three-dimensional chess that they play on, but this it's not even chess because in this game the pawns are more important, not because they can grow up to be any other piece, but pawns can take down any piece on the board. This game is about who has the most pawns. The pawns empower the other pieces for MAGA. Like I say, chess is I know it's a simplistic way of trying to look at it, but chess is about two minds competing against each other. This is not chess because chess implies an equal playing field. This is not chess. This is like this would be chess when your side of the playing field is pristine and proper, and the other side of the playing field is even hindered in the moves they can make because they're literally potholes that they can fall into and take themselves off the board. Your this side of the board doesn't have to contend with the same thing this side of the board has to contend with. So that means, and then before they allow you to capture the other side of the board, they will literally blow it up under your feet. They will literally blow it up under your feet. So no, chess, it's not chess. chess. It's not even Go. I love Go. I love Wii. But it's not even that, because on those games also implies that I'm playing with somebody that has a rational thought process. No, there's no their rational process is in service to their racism and bigotry, their the desire to oppress. There is no rational conversation. You can make a rational move, and it doesn't work if you're not taking their pieces off the board. And the reason I'm segueing into, I'm tired of people saying things that they don't back up with their actions. That's why I'm mad at the Democrats. I'm mad at the Democrats because they are abdicating the field to misinformation. They're abdicating the field to polite dialogue. Let me tell you what Kamala Harris needs to do for the next 2 weeks. Kamala Harris needs to forget about everybody who's not voting for her. Everybody who's not voting for her, she don't need to be reaching out to. You got 14 days. That's what you're going to do. These 14 days, you're going to meet Donald Trump where he is. You're going to meet MAGA supporters where they are. When people ask you questions about, are you saying half the country is stupid? Yes, that's what I'm saying. You saying half the country is racist or bigot? I'm actually saying more than half the country is. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this is if you either want democracy or you want racism. Which one do you want? I need people to start taking a more active role in standing up, and to the we allow get on here, and they're making these commercials about um Kamala Harris support the Biden administration supporting prisoners having sex change operations, right? Sex change is not, that's the word they use, but we know they're gender reassignment surgeries. But that's how they're planning it, and I'm phrasing it like they're phrasing sex change operation. They're they're putting this misinformation out there, and it's misinformation that they're not even countering with the reality of this was a policy that was in place, that under certain conditions and circumstances, that those people who were incarcerated that were already in the process or in stages of gender reassignment could still continue that gender reassignment before the Biden Harris team came into office. So they're not having, and forget, this is what's going to happen. You all are going to watch us get polited out of the election. You're going to watch and see what politeness does to an election. I don't care. I'm telling you, at least we need to know her policy. You don't know how to read. Go to the page. This 14 days. If you don't know the policy, you don't want to know the policy. I spend more time beating up people on social media about misinformation than I see Kamala Harris HQ do. I spend their rhetoric is too polite. They're not fighting in a manner that I want to see. I don't want a leader that just is intellectually I don't know, it could be pseudo intellectual for all I know. I want to see a leader that backs up their words with action. I want to see her release one of those fuck you Donald Trumps. I want to see her. I just want to see it. I want to see her take his words, like I take the words of racists and bigots, and eviscerate them with their own words. It it's not an either or, Jay. Is that Jane? Jane? Nah, y'all are too. Like I say, this is why this is why I always say Republicans understand the game, the war that is politics better than Democrats do, because you all have your moral compasses pointed in these ways that don't defy reality. This is not the world we live in, and before you can change the world you live in, we must win. And you all are, it's like that's I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, but I listen, I watch you all, and I can see, I see why you all lose so many elections. I see why the moral high ground has led you all to the point where you can't even win the House of Representatives because you always talk about bipartisanship with people who have shown you that they're only interested in bipartisanship when it benefits them. Not you, Jay. I was talking to, I think it's Jane over here. So I think she will once she wins. Nope. I'm gonna tell you, I have never, my leadership style, people know I'm intelligent. Intelligence is not a problem. They know I can run rings around you intelligently. But my family depends on me because they also know I can knock a motherfucker out if I need to. They know that when the time comes, I'm not going to be trying to have a conversation with somebody, trying to hurt somebody I love. I'm not going to be saying, well, tell me about your childhood. How did we get to this point? That's not what they're looking for. But that's what y'all giving. It's just like when I be watching y'all on these panels and y'all have these racists and bigots on your panels and people be talking about, we're going to give everybody a chance to speak. That's why I don't come to your pages because I'm not giving them a chance to speak. If something is a true threat to democracy and you happen to embrace democracy, why are you tolerating anything that threatens that democracy? Make it make sense. Because most of y'all are in service to your pseudo intellect more than you are in service to actually doing something about it. More of y'all are in service to your pseudo intellect than you actually are in service to the things and principles that Fred Hampton stood for, the things and principles that the Black Panthers fought for, while you all. I'm going to start going into people's lives and they're going to start talking about something. And I'm going to ask them to show me a book they have behind them or in their house on the subject they're talking about. Show me a book. Show me some research. Quote to me somebody that has any inkling of what you're talking about. If you're talking about redlining, I want to see a book on redlining. I want you to be able to define it. If you're talking about where we come from, I want you to tell me where we come from succinctly. If you're going to talk about the greatness of black people, I want you to be able to talk about more than we've overcome during slavery and since 1619. Because everything else is just pseudo intellect. I want to know about Hammurabi. I want to know about Timbuktu. I want to know about what mathematics was invented by who to build what in Egypt. I want to know it. If you're going to talk about the greatness of black people, I want it to be more than just your feelings. If you start our history at slavery, of course everything looks like progress. Carter G. Woodson. An eye for an eye will always stick with me. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something, Onyx. What sticks with me is no, not an eye for an eye. Because number one, why am I letting you get near my eye? That's just reactionary. When what should be happening is we should be learning the lessons not of Western philosophers, but of Hammurabi and Masomeno and Shaka. We should be understanding that the eye for the eye actually comes from that same passivity that is turn the other cheek. So if you take my eye, you have reduced my sight. I need to reduce your life. You're not going to get to go around and tell people that you took my eye and I just took your eye back. If you cross that line, you don't get to determine how I respond to you crossing that line. I 5 minutes. 5 minutes GCPR. No, I think we as oppressed and our oppression forgot who we were in our greatness. I think we forgot. If we want to talk about fighting the oppressor, let's talk about how Ethiopia only succumbed to oppression after all the countries around it for generations succumbed to it, because it was one of the few countries that was not colonized by the colonizers properly. They had to find another way. So Hammurabi's principle was to destroy my enemies utterly before they even realized they were my enemies. Hammurabi, Hammurabi, Hammurabi. Now you might talk about, that the the westernized version of Hammurabi's code, right? But Hammurabi made Robert Greene look like a kindergartner. If you look at all our great African generals, the principles of Sun Tzu were embedded in African culture way before we ever heard of the art of war. He keeps saying that name like I know who it is. Yeah. We have to understand that one of our biggest problems, and this is, let me tell you something. This is, it's contagious even, because it's not just the biggest problem of black people. It is spread because colonization made it a problem to all colonized and marginalized groups of people. We are always taught it is nobler of the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outraged fortunes than to take up arms against the sea of trouble. Shakespeare literally told us that nobility and noblism was being used against us as it was fed to us. We are taught that it is nobler to be stand up in front of the bullet than it is to dodge. We are taught it is better to give grace to our enemies than to slaughter them mercilessly. We are taught that. We have internalized it. Somehow, in spite of who we are and where we come from, we have been taught to show grace to our enemies while holding our friends at a higher standard than is morally possible to obtain. I have watched on this app people eviscerate people that look like them for mistakes they made, while I watch them cower in the face of racists and bigots and say, I'm just going to block them. I'm just going to block them. They don't care about you blocking them. They don't care about you blocking them. When you wasn't following them in the first place. They don't care about you. I blocked them. Yeah, and you ain't doing it. All right, GCPR, I am told that our time is up for tonight. So I'm going to log off the GCPR network, but I'm not finished with this conversation. If you would like to join this conversation, if you are in a place where you have a VPN that allows you to join this conversation, come on over and join it. I'm on TikTok, both of my TikTok pages today. Yeah, I I got new equipment, so I'm on both my TikTok pages. Um, I am on X, I am on Twitch, I am on YouTube, and of course, I'm about to sign out of GCPR. But thank you all for joining us tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we will, Kamala Harris will have a town hall. I will be streaming that in its entirety. I don't know if I'm gonna I'm probably gonna simulcast it, and we're gonna play it again probably for GCPR. I'm gonna play it again for you all. So there will be a town hall tomorrow, and we'll be chopping it up about that. So the show might run a little long, might start a little late. I don't know. And also 14 days from now, I will start my coverage of the election um, as the polls close on the East Coast, and we'll be here for a while. So pull up. But anyway, see you tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time on the radio. And like I said, if you want to join the rest of this after hours conversation, come on over. Olivia's telling me I'm making a 4-hour exit speech right now, but y'all know who I am. Peace. See y'all later. All right, now back to you all. Now, so we we need to we need to understand that in no time in history has the oppressor ever fought by the same rules that they teach us to fight them by? Not the same rules. 3 hour law starts now. Anuba's good voting, good voting. I just did a video about Tweedledee and Tweedledum and Tweedledummer, and they were stealing Harris Wall's campaign signs out of these people's yards in Springfield, Missouri. Now, what first impressed me is that many people in Springfield, Missouri had Harris Wall signs in their yard. I was impressed with that because I know Missouri. But to see that many, they were going around stealing Harris Wall signs, like somehow that would change people's votes if their sign was missing. But the part that was telling to me is that the people were so used to having their signs stolen that they had put an Apple AirTag in one of the signs, right? And so these people, this woman is 63, and her boyfriend, her significant other is 60, and they literally drove to the next town to find their signs that they had took because they had the the Apple AirTag in them. So they pull up. I say these these two. If I didn't know any better, I would say they were White Panthers from the '60s. And if the White Panthers were a thing, if you don't know who the White Panthers are, you all need to go and look them up, because when I talk about I want accomplices, if you're not pulling up on me like the White Panthers did in service to the Black Panthers, then you are just you. You're just you. See, Petra's will be a White Panther. If you're not pulling up like the White Panthers did, yeah, you're just all talk. But anyway, so they pulled up. 63 and 60 years old pulled up on these young boys' house, and they want their signs. They wasn't playing. They wanted their signs. Um, and the guy was listening to. He said they even got his name. They got him. I don't know if it's his name because he said his name was Jackson Chester. Jackson Chester. You can't make this up. These are actual names. So they pulled up on him, and they said, "Well, the it's telling me that my AirTag is in your trunk of your car. Can you open your trunk of your car and show me it's not there?" So he starts talking. I guess he's like, and I think the other guy's his brother that's standing with, because his mother also is there, comes out, because the guy Jackson Chester just graduated from high school in May. Yeah, he just graduated in May. So there is that. So ah, they opened the trunk of the car, and there are about 60 signs in the trunk of this car. There are about 60 Harris Wall signs in the trunk of this car. First, tried to say he rented his friend's car, so he don't know what's in the trunk. And he don't know what's in the trunk, but he opened it up at 60. And so the mother is like, well, you all want them back? I'm like, did this did this I'm looking like you couldn't have told me this. You done stole property out my yard, and then gonna take an attitude, and then gonna tell them, liberals. She called them liberals. I'm tired of you liberals, huh? Take your signs. And I'm like, then she threw them on the ground. Let me tell you why things like this don't happen to me. Cause y'all see my Halloween costume back there? That's my Halloween costume. It's all when you if y'all don't know what that orange is hanging behind me, that is an orange jumpsuit. That is an orange jumpsuit, okay? I'm not playing. I have an orange jumpsuit. I keep that orange jumpsuit because I be seeing how people be moving, and I realize I might as well show up with my own jumpsuit. I'm gonna take my mugshots in my own jumpsuit because she would have threw those at me in my direction and said something about liberals and asked me if I want my shit back after your incel son stopped standing socks up in a corner long enough to drive out of your city to my town and steal my property, and you act like it's a problem that I come to reclaim it. Child, I need a bigger trunk. Olivia, shut up. I need a bigger trunk. I literally need a bigger trunk because we would have. It would have been. I knew three people could have fit. It would have fit in that trunk right then. Yeah, three people, and I wouldn't have made the same mistakes I made. Allegedly, allegedly, I wouldn't have made the same mistakes I made when I was 16. Yeah, I've learned my lesson. Driving around with somebody in your trunk for 2 days is uh, like 40 hours too long. 40 hours too long. Just was lazy. Should have drove to New Orleans. Should have drove to Metri and Slidell like I intended to, but no, I had to do something. Um, yeah, but and you just look at this, and I'm amazed. Like I say, it amazes me that people think that something miraculously gonna happen on November the 5th, and all these people gonna just disappear. Yeah, Petra, yeah, 39 and a half hours too long. Where were you at when I was 16, Petra? How were you born? How old were you when I was 16, Petra? How old was I? How old were you when I was 16? Yeah. 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 I was 16. I was 16 in 1983. 1983, I was 16 years old. Yeah. But I wasn't even a thought. They will try to plan J. Listen, this is the thing, Rain. They don't even have to try. Yeah, I guess 5 was too young then to be dragging you around into my 16-year-old shenanigans then. Guess 5 was too young. Now, give you another year, you probably been ready. Um, they don't even when I hear them and they talking about, oh, it's gonna be a civil war, I be looking at them like, you think the revolutionary who literally wants to burn this system down and build something that works for everybody is going to be bent out of shape because you want to start a civil war? I'm just looking. I'm just telling you. I'm looking for an excuse. I'm just looking for an excuse. I figure I don't have enough people to start a civil war to rebuild this system on my own. But if you attack, I might convince some people to fight back. I might can convince some people to fight back. I can't convince you all to dismantle the system, but I probably can convince you all to fight back. Because I think it's going to take that before you all get to the point where you truly want to dismantle the system. When you truly understand the threat that MAGA is to your well being. Yeah. I think a lot of people, even the few that support me, I think you all have an idea, but you really don't have the hard concept because you still hold grace. I'm already got a couple of people ready to fight back if need. Yeah, I keep waiting for them to make the move. I'm not serious. Um, I think a lot of you all have the. I just hate being so reactionary, but I know that I will also get out here and I'll be dead because some people only want to react. They don't want to act until it's too late. But yeah, so I'll be listening to, we're gonna have a civil war. I'll be like, damn, they read my mind. This out of shape, bad built, mediocre white man wants to have a civil war. The man who runs out of breath after one flight of stairs is talking about a civil war. The man who wears a flap jacket like it's Kevlar vest and he got Dunlap disease because his belly done lapped over his ankles wants to talk about a civil war. Ah, my dreams should be so real. Have you heard of King Demetrius? He's a black man that's not like us. I'm not sure. You see, I don't know if you mean when I say not like us. I don't know if you mean the same thing. Because when I say not like us, um, just okay. Yeah, so this is okay. Well, that's see. Number one, I wouldn't call him king anything. Then number one, that's first thing. I'm not calling him king anything. I'm going to disrespect him as much as possible. See, this is what I talk about. This is the exact thing I talk about, right? Um, I'm not offering grace or respect. People wait, well, your ad hominems get in the way. You be having some good information, but then you start name calling. I'm not name calling. Name callings are rooted in fact, in real, and a fantasy. Everything I be saying is real. Yeah, there are black people, and then there are people who happen to be black, and I can't stand people who just happen to be black. I don't know what's so hard to figure out about that. I don't. Red dye in it. Where's little T? Uh, little T. They had to put some rubber bands on little T so he can hold a flag. He's on my counter. He's above my books. I, I have to stop him from smashing Rocket Raccoon and just tell him that Rocket just acting for these things. He's all right. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, I have a bobblehead. A bobblehead. A bobblehead. I got this for my last birthday. This is what my bestie got me for my last birthday. A bobblehead. A bobblehead tee. And Olivia Bella told me to tell you to stop telling me to move because she's like right behind my chair. She's telling you to stop telling me to move. Yeah. The video yesterday where you got the suit on with the red drink, it has been a minute since you. Um, yeah, I guess. Yeah. I most of yeah, I donated the red suit, the black suit. Most of the suits, the older suits that you see me, I've donated them to people that come by the shelter that are going on job interviews or something like that. I donated suits. So I got them all pressed and got some shirts to go with them. And I donate them to people that are going on job interviews or are going home. Yeah. So that's what we do. We can't. We do what we do. Updating phone on PC. I see you. I see you. She was scared. So, and I even get them taken up because everybody's not as big as I am. So, we get them. We do whatever we have to do. Whenever somebody comes and say they like got a job interview, I get them hotel. I get them a hotel the day before so they can get cleaned up, get clothes, make sure they get shaved up. My barber is great. My barber is great because if I bring somebody in, um, of course, He tells me I don't have to pay him anything, but I try to pay half of it. This is what people don't understand. I stay broke. I stay broke, but I stay broke because these are the things we do. It doesn't matter if I make more money. I just spend more of it doing these things. We're gonna make sure that people are always treated with dignity and respect. It sounds funny on this page. How do I sound? I have a bunch of fancy stuff I don't wear anymore. Uh, I converted. I wear a lot of vests. I wear a lot of vests. And sometimes vests because it's easier. I, I, I have never, you know how you'll meet people and you see in the movies they get ready for a fight and they have to take off something. I never take off any. If anybody, going all the way back to in school, elementary school, whenever somebody was like threatening or so they wanted to fight and they start taking off something, I take off on them. You pull your shirt over your head if you want to. That's why everything I wear is loose because I have to be able to move. Because if you say you want to fight, like someone tell me meet me outside, and they start to walk off and turn their back on me, shit, man. Yeah, I'm gonna meet you outside, all right? Because I'm gonna knock you outside. Yeah, I don't play fair. I don't know what fair fights mean. That usually means you're losing. I don't know what fair. I don't. That's why when I took martial arts, the sensei would never let me participate. He let me participate one time in an exhibition match, right? And the guy hit me in the face in the exhibition match. And we're not supposed to get hit in the face. It's an exhibition match. You're not supposed to hit people in the face. The guy hit me in the face, and I literally had to be pulled off the guy by my sensei. Cause yeah, you hit me in the face, I'm not exhibitioning anymore. I tell people that's when I realized, and I still took martial arts. I still took martial arts. I still practice with my katanas, but I don't practice for show. I'm gonna tell you, I am not the show type guy. I'm like I believe in eliminating the threat as quick as possible. So no, I couldn't do expedition. I couldn't do exhibition matches. I couldn't even spar. He wouldn't even let me spar with anybody except the older students. He wouldn't let me spar with students. And as I got older, to the point where all I could spar with was him. Or we have or we have the little dummy. Y'all see the dummy when you have to hit the things. Yeah, I could spar with that all day, and it always won. How can something made out of sticks beat my ass so concisely as that thing did? When my son was a teenager, he would wear flip flops or sandals because he said he had to stay ready. Yeah, yeah, helping people who need help, just getting near the basics of life. And that's, you know, that is the thing. I mean, if you follow me a long time, you know that because of how I chose to live my life when I was younger, um, I never wanted for anything. I like I say, once I was young, I didn't know we were poor. I didn't know we were poor. My grandmother never let us know we were poor. It just didn't work. Grandmother, she had the garden. We always had food. We always fed it. I didn't know I was poor. But then when I realized that we were poor, I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. And like I say, I never, the generational trauma people talk about, I am, Petra's met my family. Petra, and this is a number one. Petra's met my family. My family, we own the store. We own the family businesses. You know, and a lot of it was based upon the income that I made when I was in the game. So, um, yeah, Petra, you gone? All right, get some rest. But Petra knows my family. She's been to our house. She has hung out with me. So it's not like I don't make up stories. A lot of people don't realize that. I don't make up things about my life. I don't. I can prove them. But it always became incumbent upon us to give back. It has always been a thing. It is always, even when I was in the game, I used to always give back. I would come when I robbed banks. I did that. I did that. Like I say, all this is public knowledge. It's not like I'm telling y'all something like, oh, all this is public knowledge. And anything I did, I always gave back. I remember one time I was in Florida. I was in Florida, and I had just hit a score, hit a lick, and I came out, and there was this homeless man sitting there selling U.S. flags, and he was a veteran, so he was in a wheelchair. And I remember it was like I hit a lick, and I saw him there, and I said, "How much are your flags?" He was selling them for $1 a piece, right? And he had about 100 of them, and I gave him $1,000 for all of them, and then gave them back to him. And so, because that's the kind of things you do, you know, that's the kind of things you do. And it's not like I'm trying to be noble or Robin Hood or anything like that. It's just I'm trying to impress upon you that eh, my moral compass is not external. It's not an external feature. It is something that even in the midst of doing things that people would consider wrong or not right, it's still about having a understanding and a sanctity for those who have even less than you do. Like I never made an excuse. I never pretended like I did what I did for those reasons. I did what I did, but I I've always anybody tell you, I've always been the same type person to help people. Um, and it wasn't like I was thinking that it's free game. When I was younger, I was like, the white boy is gonna come into the neighborhood and buy product, no matter what. They're gonna come into the neighborhood and buy product. I was aware of the exploitation of our neighborhood at a young age because my grandmother. Um, I was aware of watching my father work. When I was talking about clay, this is personal experience. I remember my father working hard every day to take care of his family and knowing that he wasn't making as much as the white man that was working with him doing the same job. As a matter of fact, my father was doing more than the white man and making less at the same age. Same, I knew that. So I made sure that when I got old enough that I was going to do whatever it took. And then by the same, loyalty means something to me. Loyalty means something to me. Regardless of what other people do, it's an internal characteristic. Um, I had to, but I did have to learn to extend it only to the right people. I used to think that, and this is after I was older. When I was in the streets, loyalty was it. You the kind of loyalty that I grew up in the streets with, I rarely see in these environments that people think everybody is so good. I rarely see it. I mean, I remember starting the fold. I remember starting the fold, and I was under the impression that it would be this um, loyal these this loyal group of individuals dedicated to fighting social injustice. That was my naivete. Because it's so funny that I look back and I realize how naive I was, because I used to base my interactions with other people based upon how I was grew up and what and growing up in the streets and you know and I thought I could bring that. I thought I would bring that with me to social justice, right? Yeah, yeah, no, it didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work because um, life experiences were not the same. I assume, um, and it's not to say that they don't have that the. I'm being tactful. It's not to say that some people didn't have loyalty, because there are people that I'm still associated with because of those bonds of loyalty, love, and life. And there are some people I still don't have anything bad to say about them. I just realized that I needed to do more investments in structure before I could do something like that. Because for me, I felt like I was a student of Fred Hampton. So the movement mattered more than any person. The movement always, and it's, see, this the thing about it, Rain, is that I always think people deserve loyalty because I deserve loyalty. So that's the naivety. Um, but then there are people like my chief of security, Don. I have known Don. How old was we? I knew Don at a point in my life when I went into the military. I got into the military, and I brought the same sense of loyalty to the military that I did. Now, don't get me wrong. If I wasn't loyal to you, it was open season. It's open season. If there's no loyalty there. But I brought that same sense of loyalty, but I also brought the same sense of leadership that I had also. So that means that I considered everybody in my unit a part of my extended loyalty, even if it was at the expense of the general military. It's like, yeah, I understood what the militaries were for because I tell people, um, when you 88, yeah, yeah, since 1988, Don, whew, um, I tell people I understood military because street organizations have the similar structure of a military unit when it comes to what we were about, what we were protecting. And unless you've been there, a lot of people, because a lot of people will compare street organizations to street gangs, and they're not the same. They're not the same. But it was the same sense of structure. You had your IG. I probably shouldn't be giving out these things. People don't know what they mean. You had, your section. Yeah, it had same military structure you had in street organization. So I brought that, and I was always a leader, whether I wanted to or not, because I didn't like my friends or family to get hurt, and I wanted them to have the best. So yeah, when Don tells you, I would get make sure everybody got phone calls for free. I did that. I did that. All right, Jay. I did that. I would make sure if you were in my unit, I would I had I had figured out how to break into the TI's office, the drill instructor's office, if you want to call it. We call them TIs in the Air Force. I had figured out how to get into his office. I'm telling you this, Tech Sergeant LaRosa know I broke in. You can't tell me to this day he didn't know I would break into his office. Yeah, you can't tell me to this day he didn't know I broke into his office. I mean, the man would literally give me his keys. The man would tell me, "Hey, take my keys, go down here, get this." Like I'm not going to get and it was like I always thought he did it for plausible deniability. He would give me the keys to storage. He tell- he would give me the keys to storage. Say, "Oh, go get us some toilet paper. Take some people with you and get some toilet paper." Right? We had toilet paper, but I made sure we got everything we needed out of storage. Everything, anything we needed or wanted out of storage. We covered for people. I remember when we went on furlough, and some people were like, "Are they not going to make it back in time?" Oh yeah, I turned the whole power off. I turned all the power off to the whole. I turned the whole power off. It took them about 45 minutes to figure out what had happened and how to turn the power back on because I knew these things. I learned things because they were going to come in handy. Oh, this is going to come in. One day, it's going to come in handy for me to turn this power off. So I need to know how to do it. And sure enough, yeah, help people get back on time. Because nobody could say you wasn't there on time when the power was off. And you could say, well, hey, I was trying to get back, but the power was off. And, we had to stay where we were until they got the power back on. Yeah. We said it was us versus the drill sergeants. See, for me, it wasn't. I mean, I'm gonna tell you. all the drill sergeants like me. That charismatic, all of them like me because, no, like I say, number one, they like me because I got the military structure already. You didn't have to teach me discipline. I didn't need you to teach me discipline. They knew that. But you also understood that you didn't have to teach me loyalty either. Because a lot of the military unit structure is meant for you to develop a cohesive loyalty with a smaller group of people that you could learn to count on in fighting. I already knew that. I already understood that if you're going to be in a strange land or in a situation, um, yeah, it's best to be. And I'm gonna tell you, anyone I felt like we couldn't build loyalty with as a unit, I made sure we got rid of. I made sure we got rid of anybody that I felt like was snitch. I would set them up and get rid of them because I realized because it was never that we were doing anything. Okay, okay. So yes, I did break things apart and smell them out and do all kinds of stuff like that. Just because I could. It just like I say, I'm not here to give you some noble idea that my life hasn't been led in the. I'm just telling you that I did live. That's when I hear people talking about the things I've done. Sometimes I'll be like, you never really tuned into my live, did you? People would say, "Oh yeah, he did this and he did this when he was in the military." And the first they'll say I'm not in the military, and then they'll go get stuff and post it that literally talks about me being in the military. Like I remember this one girl, she posted like um, one of my court martials, one of my court martials, and I was like, "You didn't get the Article 15? Yeah, you go get the Article 15 and come back, right?" Um, and then I was like, but you just said I wasn't in the military. How do you think I got court martialed if I wasn't in the military? Yeah. Didn't think that one through. Didn't think that one through. And then I laughed. We had to get along to get it done. Yeah. None of I was abusive, like wouldn't allow. And then, but if you were a threat, if you were a threat, yes, physical. Yes, if you were a threat to my cohesive unit, and I used to say mine, it would tell you it was like the TI, the drill TI would be talking about his unit. I'll be like, nope, this is my unit. This is my unit. It's mine. Anywhere I go. But by the same token, if I deemed you a threat to the unit, then yeah, I would have no problem. People think violence is a solution to some problems. Uh, Violence is a solution to some problems. If he wasn't in, then what was I doing? I had to post pictures of me and my ACUs. Look, I remember um I had forgot Don is the one that sent me some pictures of me in service because I never really took pictures of myself. And I had lost the book. I had lost our book um because of a hurricane. I forgot the hurricane. But anyway, I had lost a lot of pictures during different hurricanes. So yeah, I had all my bad paperwork, but Don sent me some pictures of us in the military. There's one. This is tell you, we were on latrine duty. We had latrine duty, right? Well, they had latrine duty because if you look in the picture that Don sent me of my idea of doing latrine duty, I was in my dress blues. Everybody else is in their olive green color uniform. I was in dress blues. That tell you I was not cleaning no bathroom. Was not there to clean a bathroom. I was there to supervise the cleaning of a bathroom. Yep, he got that. But that's why I tell people when people be talking about me, I'll be like, y'all can just ask. Y'all can just ask. I don't have, you know, everything I've done in my life. has brought me to this point right now. So why am I don't do shame. I don't do shame. I don't do regrets because it doesn't change anything. Um, if I did it, I did it. If I didn't, if you think I did it, that's fine with me. Because at the end of the day, I don't just like who I am, I love who I am. And I realize that everything I've gone through, everything I've done, I tell people all the time when you hear people on this app and they say, I'm going to take you down, I'm going to expose you. Like, I'm like, are you for real? Do you understand? I have done more to destroy my own life than you all could collectively get together and do, and I survived myself. I survived myself. You think I can't survive a group of you all getting together to talk about me? Yeah, bitch, please. I survived myself, and look at me. Not only did I survive myself, I learned how to thrive in spite of myself by being true to who I am. So when people be like, let me tell you what you can't say about T. Nathan. That's easy. You can't say he ever assaulted anybody in a sexual manner. There's no graping. You can't find a woman to come forth and tell you that he misused me and abused me. You can't do that. You can't find no men that do that either. So it's safe. But you can't do that. When you find somebody to say that T. Nathan took advantage of the banking system, that T. Nathan was an enforcer in the drug gang, yeah, you can find all that. T. Nathan been to prison? Yep, sure have. T. Nathan beat somebody up in prison because, yep, you can find all that. I did all that. I don't drink. Uh, I don't do drugs. Can't find anybody to say, I saw T. Nathan high on crack. You can't find that person because I don't do that. You can't. So I've come to grips with everything I have done in my 57 years, 56 years and counting. What's the day? How many days I got? I know how many days to the election. I don't know how many days is my birthday. 7 days. 7 days I'll be 57 years old. 7 days I'll be 57 years old. And I've beat up nephews. I've had a bad relationship with my biological brother. I've done all that. All that. I should be asleep, but I got y'all back. Go to sleep, Jay. What time you got to be at work? Go to sleep, Jay. MIA thought she knew everything you were capable of. Right. People think that. People. I was like, are you all really reading these records you all are getting from public information and thinking you know who I am? It's like people didn't realize they were talking about, well, you were on parole doing this. Like I didn't know I was on parole when I was in Minnesota during the George Floyd era, or that when I was in Georgia at a march for. The people act like I didn't know that I was on parole, not probation, parole. They act like I didn't know. That's how committed I was. I didn't just sit around and talk about things from the safety of my home. I was actually in these places making whole ass videos. We in we in New Mexico feeding homeless people. I got a big ass red beard and over almost a million people. I had almost a million people then too. And people were like, "Oh, why were you doing?" Because the things needed to be done. What kind of revolutionary hides out safely while asking other people to do dangerous shit? Who does that? I knew what I was doing. I knew I was breaking the law, but revolution period is breaking the law. Who's gonna follow my lead when my lead is on a couch somebody talking to you all while saying you all need to be out at protests and I'm staying safe. Let me tell you something. I would go to protests and get in trouble and get away with it. Knowing I could be locked up because I'm out of my jurisdictional boundaries. But I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it because at the end of the day, everything else is just talk if you're not doing the work. What's up, dresses and swords? If you're not doing the work, you're just talking. And I look at Fred Hampton. I told you Fred Hampton is he was 21 years old. When they tried to pin charges on him, he still did the work. When he went to jail, he still did the work. When he went to prison, he still did the work because the work is more important. I cannot ask anybody to listen to me or follow me just because I want to be a pseudo intellectual academic. No, no. They literally hate you more than the people you help and get that. Listen, listen, I tell you, right? That's one of the things that my grandmother always taught me that you know you're on the right track when the people you're not fighting hate you for fighting the people you are fighting. I've had people literally join with racists and bigots because they didn't like me, just because they didn't like the way I talked to them. And I have never stopped talking to them the same way I did. Prison didn't break me at 22. You think it's going to break me at 54? Yeah, I hit harder now than I did then. It doesn't. This system has done the worst, and I have done the worst. Well, well, what did I stumble onto? What's up, Jay? Nephew Jason in here. I try to teach him these lessons too, right? You so I've survived myself. There is nothing anybody else can do. There is nothing. There is no. I have no fear of somebody saying something about TNathan or implementing him in something because either I did it or I didn't. Tell you what has never happened. None of my nobody's come on this apps saying I have a my TNathan can't raise children. He's not a good father. Nope, that's never happened. I'm not getting beat up in front of my family. That's never happened. None of those things. If anybody knows me, they're gonna tell you. Even when I'm mad at you, if I love you, I still physically protect you. Now I might chastise you or let you get burned by some emotional fire. I gotta toughen you up because I am. I believe that we don't survive the oncoming without toughening up, and a lot of us need some toughening up. Fear is eating anything a white person cooks. Love you, Jason. You at work? You off work? What time is it? It's 11:46. She's 44. You still at work? My nephew be sneaking on TikTok at work. All right, you all. And are we going to midnight? You cuss me out too many times. I cuss you out, Jay, because I care. I cuss you out because I care. And you be fucking up. He's still there with the white man. You don't talk about cussing out. You better ask the guy, ask the nephew above you. We practically, it's like practically fighting. I know he's hung up the phone talking to me sometimes, and he wants to literally think he can run his sword to me. I know it. I know it. But he is so much. He has become stronger than he was. I always say, if I love you and I care about you, I want to contribute to your life in a manner that makes you stronger as we go. Leave my brother Jason alone. Jason know it's true. See, this is the difference between people I care about and people that I just thought that I could care about. People that I care about, no matter how much we fight, they're still here. They're still here. Even when they don't like something I do, they be like, yeah, okay. He's still here. Jason has never taken to TikTok and talked about he's gonna charge $20 to tell you all anything about TNathan because that would be funny as hell to me. It amazes me when people. It's like if people are that enamored with me, just ask me a question. I'll answer it, or you'll answer it and I'll make a video about your answer. I wouldn't even get rid of him, though the fights and all. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, it's like I'm a grown ass man that don't have to tell you I'm a grown ass man. So I was like, I'm gonna tell you something else, somebody. When I turn off TikTok or when I turn off social media, I don't. If it's not about the movement, I don't take it with me. I don't take it with me. And the people that if I have your phone number, you're with me anytime you want me. Are you in the priority DMs like Robert? Robert wants to DM me all damn day. That's fine. If you cuss out the people you care about, if you care about them, then that's when I get scared. All those clowns that we thought was here for us showed us that I am not the issue they were. Yeah, yeah, Jason. And I've always stood by that. I always tell people that fire teaches you who you are and it teaches you who the people around. Um I don't go around putting out people's fires just because I can. Because sometimes I need to see who you are in the fire. My grandmother's taught me that you could tell who people really are when they're mad. Yeah, sometimes I intentionally get people mad at me because I want to see who you really are. Do you really care about me or do you just play lip service? Who are you? Who are you through the fire? And Jason would tell you, I have put him through some fire. Matter of fact, I be I be sending dragons at him. Go get him. I have put him through some fire. I put him in situations to intentionally see what would you do? What would you do? And he's gotten mad, but but see, always care about. It's easy to say you love somebody, and people think, well, you have to love people through everything. Yeah, I love you, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to put some fire on your ass so you'll get stronger, so you will get tougher, so you will learn to stand in the face of people. My fire is hot. Their fire is nothing in comparison. He has put me through some ish, but my lips have never been loose like a. Yeah, that like I say, Jason. Jason's not going to get on TikTok and be like, "I had $20, $20." I be like, well, and then I be looking at people. They be like, I watch people pay this price to learn nothing about me. To learn nothing about me. It's like, well, what about the? That's like, if you want to know what color drawers I got on, just ask me. Just ask me. I'll hold them up for you. You ain't gotta ask somebody else what if I wear boxers or briefs. I wear boxer briefs. You just ask me. Just ask. Yeah. Just send him random boxes of laugh. I should have never told Olivia that roaches are my weakness. I'm gonna tell you, they're my weakness, but I will kill them in a minute. I don't like that at all. Paying for secrets was extremely disrespectful. And the thing about it is, you're not paying for secrets. It's, people are asking questions about me that are literally Googleable because no one or they'll hit around at the questions. Um, who he with? Is he dating somebody? Is he married? Is he married? They hit around and stuff like that. It was always something. And it's like, oh, I was like, you want to know if I'm gay? Is that what y'all asking? You want to know if I'm gay? Are you shooting your shot? I be asking people that all the time when they be like talking about my beard and my nails. It's like, are you shooting your shot? Because let me tell you, you're kind of not hitting the mark here. What's up, Siren? He done the mods have been tough on me because of others, but I'm still here. Yeah, it's like has set us up to see if we can handle the heat. Yeah, and then and I will rip into you all. I will rip into you all because, like I say, the day you do something fucked up and I don't say anything about it, I don't care about you. I don't care about you. There are plenty of people that are not in my life to this day that I have no ill will towards, but I just don't care about. I don't care. I don't care why they don't care. I don't care why they did what they did. I don't. That's I tell people when you study Western African culture, you learn the biggest, the the most extreme punishment when you do something to the community is not death. You're excommunicated from the community. You're excommunicated from the community. That's the biggest punishment because community is where we strive to, and you are marked in such a way to let anybody know who passes you that you have been you have no home, not a house, you have no home. Your community has turned their back on you. Nobody knows about them 3 a.m. phone classes. Yes, a lot of people know about them, Jay. You're not the only one that gets them. And that's why any room you walk in gets very quiet. Trouble now. Yeah. No, the rooms that get quiet. Have you ever noticed the rooms that get quiet? Yeah, y'all be joking because I know I might be abrasive, but I'm never abusive. But it's the rooms that get quiet when you walk in that they were talking about you. You know how many rooms I've been into that they have been having a live about me, and I'll just pop up in the comment section and be like, "What's up? Don't mind me. Continue, continue." I just came to see. I just came to learn some things about my life that I might not have known. What's up? All right, you all. I think I make it to 12. 6 more minutes. 6 more minutes. So I'm trying to make it to 12. Remember, tomorrow night we have the town hall with Kamala Harris. A week from today, we have the election. I mean, 2 weeks from today, we have the election. Um, anything else? My day was good. My day was good. I want to show you. I got. Um, so I got. Dun, dun, dun. Hold tight. Hold tight. Moving the camera. Moving the camera. Hey, yeah, that's me. Let's see who's back there. Where Bella at? Where Bella? That Bella? I see Bella. I had to get her a new rug. See, I got a rug right there because she likes to lay behind me. Then I got her a rug over there because sometimes she likes to lay over there. But then, dun, 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 I told you I got a lot of screens, right? So I got this screen. I got a new screen. I got two new screens today. I got this one and that one to go with this one, that one, that one over there, that one there, and those two. So, yeah, I got a new screen for my birthday. I got two new screens for my birthday. Mother bought me two new screens because she said, "I know you want them, and I know you broke." So that's another reason I'm worried about. I'm broke. I be broke, but anytime you know how your mothers are, they know you broke, and they be like, "I know you need this, so here you go." So, oh, and see the mic, see the mic. Try to put you all back straight now. There you go. So yeah, I made it back to LA today trying to work on securing shelter. Good, good. Yeah, look, I have good extended family members because they know. And I'm gonna tell you, my mom, she'll do something, but she'll say, "I know if I give you the money," because mom used to like send me money to get haircuts, because she said, I know you just get back on your feet after getting out of prison. So she said, but then she was like, "You didn't get your haircut. Who was hungry?" And she knows me. She know if somebody's hungry, I'll be like, I'll cut my own hair. I'll cut my own hair. It was like she used to get mad because my nails wasn't done, because I would literally take the money and do something with it, because it always something comes up with when you're doing this every time. And it's not like I'm having the same money I used to have um, when I was doing those things, or when I was at a university that people got me kicked out of because they couldn't stand. Yeah, they couldn't stand. You can't be working at the university. Yeah, but anyway, but I'm not hungry. I'm never hungry. I'm never without shelter. And I'm like, yeah, I can get my nails done anytime. I like my screens and I like my books. Like I told you, every one of these screens you see, like if I'm on here, these screens have news on them. That screen has stuff I'm showing you all on it. This screen, now I got this screen so I can do my lives on my main page also, because it requires a different program than this one does. So I got them, and I got the other screen to read information. Literally, if I'm if I'm on here, I got other information up there. I know, and books. Yeah, because you see that shelf. Dun dun dun. Where is it? How did I? Yeah, go there. You see that shelf right there? That's the books up there. There's another shelf over here. Dun dun. Shelf over here. That book's over there. That's my humidifier. That's my humidifier. So that's what we do. I love books, and I'm off. Call me if you want. You off tonight, Jason? We got Skin also. I'm gonna play Skin. I was gonna play it. I'm gonna try to play it on here, see how that works. I really want y'all to see Skin. Skin, I really want to have a conversation. Skin is more intense. Do you all remember a movie with Edward Norton in it, and he was a racist, and he turned his life around? Um, it's something. It's more intense than that. It's more intense to that. Yeah, American History. Yeah, American History X. Yeah. So it's more intense than that. Skin. Yeah, we're gonna watch Skin. But we also gonna watch horror movies. Um, let's see. Today is the 22nd. So starting this weekend, we're gonna watch horror movies. We're gonna have at least one horror movie playing every night until Halloween. At least one. At least one. Trump says he was going to use the military who don't support him. Robert, did you leave? Are you just getting back? Are you just getting back, Robert? You didn't hear me talking about General Kelly and everything? Yeah. You better start reading the room. You just getting here gonna ask us questions we've been talking about. All right, Robert. You're gonna get a lap. Yeah, we talked about that, Robert. We talked about with General Kelly. Stop saying I'm sorry, Robert. I'm picking on you. I'm picking on you. I know a good educational movie, but you won't play it. I'm going to delete that word from the live. And it's not an educational movie. That is a horror movie that I don't want to see. All right, Jason, you head home. I must have made it. It is now midnight, you all. All right, you all. Today, it is now officially Wednesday. Today, we're going to watch the town hall. So if you missed the town hall when it's normally, I will be streaming it. All right. I will be streaming the town hall that Kamala Harris is going to have today. We might get it twice because I'm going to stream it for GCPR. I might have to play it at my time depending on what's going on. All right. So we'll be here tomorrow, streaming live. I might stream some stuff from her earlier. I might stream the live interview earlier tomorrow too, since I didn't get to it today. The interview she did with MSNBC. I probably will start earlier tomorrow night so we can get all that in. We got a lot of stuff to go over tomorrow or today because I wanted to talk about what General Kelly said, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Now, what we're about to do is we're about to get out of here. Y'all have a good one and stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I would do or do anything I wouldn't do. All right, main page.